final answer in processing what I did is in the back of the room there. If I could have my daughter and my grandchildren stand up. Those are the reasons why I went up and I did what I did. For the fact that somebody had to throw out an anchor and get this started. And I elected myself. Thank you.
That's the American who came to Canada to shoot an elk in southeastern BC, setting off a rights fight. The Syilx eventually won. Because of it, Canada could soon get 3,500 new status Indians from a U.S. tribe where they were pushed generations ago, but now have rights to the land their ancestors once lived on.
It was the evidence of Richard and Andrea and Rick and Shelley. And the trial judge said, you know, all of that evidence went in uncontradicted and uncontested. You know, Shelley gave wonderful evidence about, you know, being from the rocks and the water and being from that place, and that's what it meant to be Sinixt. And that's the evidence that won the case.
Evidence that proved they lived here long before an imaginary line divided Canada and the United States. The case was watched by many cross-border tribes.
Aboriginal peoples or tribes or whatever you consider it, American, Canadian, whatever, they all have the same issue. You know, they've been pushed into a place. This is my place now, I'm pushed here, you know, you're over here, you're pushed here. And so those are the next step moving forward, is working with those people on how we come together.
Can we expect to see more Sinixt who are living south of the 49th parallel coming up here, accessing this land, that in the immediate future?
I pray they do.
The case had 17 interveners, U.S. tribes who share that prayer.
For all of them, this decision has tremendous implications that over time will lead to us revisiting what that border means and the role it plays in our society. No, it's not just going to be there are Canadians on this side and there are Americans on this side. There is an Indigenous people who exist on both sides of that invisible line.
Sort of a contemporary version of a pit house.
Not everyone is waiting for them with open arms, though.
Become the site operator.
Marilyn James is an activist of mixed ancestry that includes Sinixt. She's a Canadian citizen living in BC at Valican, but also a Colville tribal member.
As is our way, in order to be here, you got to circle the pit house.
BC eventually appointed her caretaker of this site.
It's on your heart, eh? This heritage site is carbon dated at something like 3,500 years, give or take, a few hundred years.
She has a small but fierce network of non-Indigenous supporters who worry about Americans asserting their rights here.
Are you worried that that would be one more corporation, Indigenous corporation, that would...
Oh, no doubt. If it were to go a certain way. Are there colonized people everywhere? Of course there are. Is there some highly dysfunctional, disengaged people, disengaged from culture, disengaged from practice, disengaged from even knowing? Like, there are Indian people out there just making up because they don't know.
While she worries about her relatives' intent, they say she's not even one of theirs.
What are they saying you are?
Oh, I'm Chinese, and I am part Chinese. And they're saying I'm Okanagan. But if they're developing a confederacy where the Okanagans are all part of it, and the Secwépemc are part of it, and the Ktunaxa are part of it, how is it that I don't belong?
The scars left by colonization and infighting between modern and traditional Sinixt on either side of the border can be seen in a fight over baskets. Yes, the woven kind. These are on display at a museum in Rossland, a mining town in the area.
They were saddlebags.
Okay.
And so one survived. That one's at, I think it's supposed to be like at 500 years. And the corn husk basket is something like at a couple hundred years. And all natural dyes and stuff.
And these are Syilx from your mother?
From my mom, so there are family baskets.
This raises a really important point that we can talk about, and it's going to lead into the real star of the show, this basket that's sitting between Andrea and I.
At the homecoming celebration in Nelson, BC this summer, Colville Tribe's Shelley Boyd, a devout Syilx advocate and community leader, delighted in unveiling this.
What we have not had were any baskets until the last little while, when 2 baskets have come from 2 Syilx families.
I know there has been, a lot of dialogue in this community around Marilyn James's baskets, which are not Syilx baskets.
Where's the basket?
I have pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see?
Sure.
Here's the basket. And I can show you a close-up of it, too.
It's the same exact basket.
On top of the infighting and rejection by the Colville tribe, the BC government has now terminated its agreement with James to caretake Valican. So she says she's reoccupying this occupation site.
Well, they're trying to run me out of here now.
Why?
Okanagan Nation Alliance and Colville tribe have been complaining to the ministry, and I informed Roger Tinney that he could come and arrest me if he wanted to. I'm not going.
Yeah.
I was responsible for bringing those first 6 back, and the rest of them that are up there, I have responsibility. I can't just bring them here, rebury them. Why do you think we had to go get them in the first place? Because the ministry dug them up and hauled them off. You think I'm going to trust the ministry to them again?
APTN happened to be at Valican when Rick Desotel and his family came by to pay their respects to ancestors. Neither spoke to each other.
He didn't even talk to me. I see people who call themselves traditional who make Cree or Lakota regalia, dance to Cree songs. What about that is us?
Whatever the future holds, they'll need to put aside differences and apply to the government to be delisted as extinct. That means they need to work together and form a representative body to deal with the Crown.
We need to put on that federal registry that we are a Canadian tribe.
Provincial officials and leaders from other First Nations in southeastern BC attended the homecoming in Nelson, shaking hands and welcoming Syilx. But it remains to be seen how they'll feel when Syilx start asserting rights in the region and wanting a land base.
I appreciate everyone who has come. Lim Lim.
Melissa Ridgen, APTN National News in the Slocan Valley, British Columbia.